YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It's nighttime, so I'm gonna say tonight I'm hanging out I'm doing a little late night session in the Springer garage. These motorcycles, these beautiful motorcycles you see around me were designed and created by my buddy Nelson. Yeah, there's gonna be more of this stuff coming up on my channel. Let me try out that one. That seat is real comfortable to sit on. Okay, let's see. This is a classic. This is a knucklehead, right?
No, it's a flathead.
This is a flathead? Okay. Okay, this is the Road Toad.
Yeah, it's an 80-inch flathead.
80-inch flathead. You know.
What makes it a flathead, knucklehead? What are you talking about when you say that?
The head configuration on these is what they call flatheads. So there's fins all the way across the top. The valves on this is what they call a side valve motor. The valves come up from the cam area to the head itself. So the valves are upside down. The top of the valve is here. The stem of the valve is down here. It's different on an overhead valve motor. So this was the first version, one of the first versions of Harley motors was a flathead. Several other iterations earlier, but very simplistic motor. A workhorse. Very dependable, low compression, plenty of power. They worked very good for fleets. This originally was a police motor, and when it was first issued to the police department, it was 74 cubic inches. As they took them apart and worked them for years, and they'd keep them in the fleet for years, this one was converted to 80 inches. So it was an upgrade. It was just a simple cylinder exchange. An old workhorse, very dependable motor.
And this is a 39, you said?
1939.
Okay. How many times have you rebuilt this bike?
That's probably the third iteration. I swap them around. What happened years ago, I originally had that bike in the knucklehead frame. Okay, the knucklehead frame, when I went one of the antique bike meets, I found out that it was a 38 frame.
Okay.
It's a 1 year only frame, but the knucklehead motor I had was a 38 motor. So by getting the motor in the right frame, it increased the value of the motorcycle appreciably.
Okay.
It also made it so that it could, if I wanted to bring it back to all stock, it could be judged.
Oh, okay.
Instant dequalification is if the frame is not correct.
Okay.
Now
so
it's matching.
Because those are matching, so you're bringing that back to stock?
I like to ride them like this.
Oh, okay.
I have the stock components to bring it back stock. The only thing it needs really is the fenders, the front and rear fender, and it's original.
Okay, dress it back up.
Yeah, just put the front fender back on and the original rear fender back on, and it's good to go.
Oh, okay. These are beautiful bikes, man.
It's a lot of fun.
This is the one that was on Facebook recently, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I posted that on my Facebook thing.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of reaction out of that.
Road Toad is a happy toad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like this configuration with basically the same size tires, width and everything.
Well, actually what you're seeing here, I've got a 16 in the rear.
Okay.
And the front is an 18.
Oh, so this is bigger.
Well, this is a larger diameter rim.
Right, larger
but
diameter.
very close to the same tire height.
Okay.
And it's a big, meaty tire.
Yeah.
That's just the style I like. And
Yeah.
in Florida, with the dirt roads, it works out real well.
So what is this style called?
You hear them called all kinds of things. The most popular name is a bobber.
Bobber. Okay.
And what they did is they took basically stock, it's very close to stock, and they would strip them down, take everything that didn't need to be on them off, and ride them that way. It gave you more accessibility to the working components of the bike. It lightened the bike up so it was a little bit snappier, a little lighter, a little faster.
And it just looks cooler.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, I really like how it looks.
Yeah.
I know you're one of the first people that started doing this, and then everyone started copying you, right?
No, not really.
No.
This style was started in the 40s.
In the 40s.
I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
even born yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm an aficionado, if you will, of that style.
Okay.
Some of the things I started doing very early on in my customization, if you will, was a lot of the use of leather and copper.
Okay, on the tank.
That's become quite popular.
Yeah, I've seen that on a lot
in
of
certain
things.
venues. I mean, there's companies now that's their big thing.
Right.
So I've been doing that since the 60s.
So this is one of your signatures.
Well, yeah, in certain Yes.
Okay.
There's lots of little things I'll do to mine that are, if it's one of my bikes, it'll be on there in some way.
Okay.
I always stick a coin on the bike.
Oh, okay.
I'll get the year of the bike and I'll, on
You'll
this
find
one,
a coin from that year?
yes, and then I'll incorporate it in somewhere. So on this one, let's see, the coin is, I gotta figure out where I put it on this one. And he's not on this one yet. Let's look at the knucklehead. Okay.
This is
I
the
just fixed
knucklehead.
it. Actually, I'm waiting for a coin for that.
Okay.
Here we go. That's a 38 dime in the oil fill port.
Oh, okay. So for that one, you've got to get a 39.
Yeah, now, I might not be looking in the right place. It might be in the speedo drive.
So it's so deep and hidden, like the Illuminati, that you can't even.
Right.
you
Okay.
can't
Here it
even
is. Right
find-
here.
Oh, it's there.
Yep, there it is. So back in the speedometer used to be driven out of here, and so right down in there is a dime in the speedo drive hole, and that's a 39 dime.
Can see
I
it,
sneak
but
them in, so I don't remember where everything is. I'm
That's
kinda,
understandable.
these are what you call axed tanks. So the center was cut out, and they were narrowed down to make them
Okay.
lighter.
Okay.
No, a standard-
Is it one tank or
No, these are two
two
pieces,
separate pieces?
but
Okay.
they're much narrower. You can see these are much wider.
Mhm.
Those are cut down. These aren't.
So did you do anything to make it sling so low? Because these are very low slung.
they are. That one's got a seat. It's down on the frame. This one's got what we call a pogo seat.
Right. That's very comfortable.
It is.
Yeah.
They're great. I like goofing around, going down the road and bouncing around and
Yeah.
goofing on people, and you know.
I like that. It fits my big backside really good.
Fits my little skinny one too. One size fits all.
Yeah, that feels like, you know.
Well, that's how that was the suspension back then.
Right. Now this one you left on the Speedo, that works?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now, do you custom do the little touches on here, like on this bike? There's some nice graphics over here. Did you do that, or did you find it?
Okay, the pinstriping, I've got a friend down in Ocala, Luke Scanlon, Scanlon Artistry. He's a good friend of mine. He's a really great guy, and this is his work. This is all hand painted. This is a decal.
Okay.
That's just a front decal. But all this is his hand striping. He does it
Yeah.
freehand, and
I like that. God
Yeah.
guts guns.
Well, that's something I've always believed in, and
The 3 Gs.
right. So it's just something that's always near and dear.
Mine is guns, girls, and gear.
That works.
That's the motto of my channel.
You bet.
Okay, anything that involves guns, girls, or gears can be on my channel, including this. This has got gears.
You bet.
Yeah, this has got gears all up in it. So I will be spending a lot of time here on my channel.
Fun.
Yeah, and then again, what motorcycle guys don't like? I've never met a motorcycle guy that's not into guns and girls.
That would be a rare one.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that they all go together. And you know what? It's good to have God in there too. There's nothing. I'm cool with
My
that.
foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I should do 4 Gs, you know. But then I'll find like 5 Gs. I'll just keep adding Gs on it, you
Just
know.
mix them up. So
Yeah, be all G'd out. So these are some really cool bikes. So these are the 2 bikes that you've done these. These are completed, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you have something you're working on?
I've got
Work in progress?
I've got this frame here is for a 1940 Indian 4-cylinder.
Oh, so this is an Indian.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's the frame.
Did you just get that?
Last year.
Okay.
So that's a work in progress. The engine's over on the other bench. This is another knucklehead motor.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yep. That knucklehead stock were 61 and 74 cubic inches. 61 when they first came out.
Oh,
They
I see
evolved
the-
into This one is 103 cubic inches.
Okay, so here you can really see
That's
the
where you see
knuckles.
that's the knuckle.
That's
right.
where that comes
That's
from.
where the name came from.
This looks beautiful.
So you see the
It's
copper
like a
here,
piece of art.
right?
Right.
And it is. To me, the beauty of these motors were the castings, and then the metals that were used and the patinas as they age, and then they get this
This
patina to them.
happened naturally?
Well, originally these were either what they call parkerized,
Okay.
nickel plated, or chrome plated.
Okay.
Different versions for different years and
Right.
different models. I took it a step further when I built this motor and had them copper plated.
Right, that's a nice
And I
look.
had the rocker box covers copper plated, and it's just because it gives a look that I like.
And over time, it's getting this patina,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I
That's
first.
beautiful.
Yep. I could polish them, but to me it looks better like
No.
this. It reminds me of the old steam engines on the
Right.
trains and things.
Yeah.
You know, just the old castings.
Yeah.
This is when
It's very
craftsmen took
steampunk
pride.
looking. You ever heard of steampunk?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it has a steampunk look
Yep,
to it. It's beautiful. I mean, I would take an engine like that wasn't running or something and put a piece of glass on it and make it into a table. You
Oh
know.
man, this thing runs
But
so good.
you could probably make any of them run, right? That's probably.
No, you know.
I'll get in big trouble with the motorcycle guys.
No. Some of them have been just destroyed beyond repair, and guys
Okay.
have done just that.
Yeah.
Some of them for school and training, they actually milled out sections, machined out sections, and cut them up, and they made what they called a cutaway motor.
Cutaways.
So you can see how the motor worked.
Right.
You know, they're rare and very valuable, but boy, wouldn't it be neat to find one of them? And I would make
Yeah.
a table out of that in a
Right.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
If you ever find one of those, let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, this is beautiful. This is a work of art right here. I mean, you know.
The guys.
So this
the
is
design
going
guys-
into this frame eventually.
No. This frame is an Indian 4-cylinder.
Okay,
So
right. This is an Indian.
This
okay.
is a 1940. The 4 cylinders ran fore and aft. So the cylinder is 1, 2, 3, 4 electric car engine.
Oh, okay.
And inline. The transmission's back here, and just a neat old bike. They're quite rare, and most of the guys that have them are quite proud of them. I'm working on that.
How long does it take you to build these bikes up?
It all
typically?
depends on the condition. These motors are unique in the sense that a Harley engine has roller bearings in the bottom end. This thing has what the old engines, they were called Babbitt bearings. It was a poured lead tin combination alloy that the crankshaft rides in. So
Okay.
they're smooth bearings, not roller bearings, and each one of them is cast and then machined. So that's pretty much a lost art. Finding guys that can still do that
Right.
is not easy. So that's part of the delay on this, is getting the right guy, because the engines are so unique, and the way they're set up in clearance and the sequence that they're done in is critical. If you don't do it right, it's real easy to blow one of these up, just ruin the motor.
Oh, okay.
And they're so rare and
Which you don't want to
expensive.
do after you
No,
go through all that.
no, I want to do it right the first time. So
This sounds like your dream bike.
yeah, my wife and I
Close.
talked about this. The bikes, you know, they're a passion, they're fun. The idea was to evolve the group of bikes I have and upgrade the value of them, because it's an investment for us. You know, as we get older and we can't ride them anymore, we could sell one and live off of it, you know.
Yeah, like they say, you know, there's that saying, they don't build them like that anymore.
And that's the truth, yes.
Yeah. And
So-
every day another guy is going up to the big highway
Yeah.
in the sky that can do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's becoming more and more valuable and
Certainly.
just precious to even see them running, right?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
The 4-cylinder group of people, and then the motorcycling, that's kind of like the you know, a lot of them they call it the upper crust or the elite.
It's like
I don't
meeting
consider
Yoda.
I don't consider myself an elitist in any stretch of the imagination, but they are neat bikes, so they deserve to be preserved. I consider myself a temporary caretaker. My goal is to do the best I can with it and not hurt it, improve it, and then it'll get passed on for generations, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about art, right? You create it, it goes out in the world, it lives
Right.
on its own. That's what makes it a beautiful thing.
Or you restore it. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm creating anything here. I'm
Right.
restoring and caring for it.
Right. It's a good thing. I mean, you know, hopefully I'll see that come to fruition.
This is going
In a
to
few
happen
years.
pretty quick. Yeah. A lot of fun. You know, it's another thing to learn about. That's kind of why I got in the antique club and got into the judging program. I got into the apprentice judging program, and I will consider myself an eternal apprentice, because it's an opportunity to give back to the hobby and learn from the people that really know this stuff.
Right. So you go out to the Indian shows and
Indian shows or the antique bike meets, and I work under the full judges and learn. And you know, there's some things that I know, and you know, nobody can know it all. So as you're judging, you've got a group of people working on a different on a bike together.
Right.
You can each contribute your skill set, your knowledge, and it's a lot of fun.
Maybe we'll go out to one of those shows with you.
Sure, there's one in Daytona every year.
Right.
So come on down.
The worst thing to happen when you're recording your YouTube channel is to have your phone on. Yeah. Don't call me when I'm making... I would show who's calling me right now, but it's a person who always wants to remain anonymous. Yeah. That's actually my brother. That's his name. You know, everyone has a strange name in the family. And his name is actually Anonymous.
Really?
Strange, yeah.
That's funny.
Because he doesn't want anyone to know who he is, but he's very supportive of what I do.
There you go.
You know, so...
Family's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, one day we would love to go out with you to one of those shows.
That's easy.
Make some videos. You said there's one coming up?
During March, during Bike Week, right around that time, the show used to be in Eustis, Florida. Now it's in Daytona.
Okay.
And it's a great meet if you want to see some really neat machines and meet some really neat people.
Absolutely. I've never been to Bike Week all these years I've been living in Florida.
We will do it.
So easy. I have to do that. I have to get the Bike Week cherry popped and go out there and share it with the YouTubers. So I'm sure people will be looking forward to that out there. Okay? Alright, let's go see some other stuff here.
That's the front end off the Indian.
Oh, okay, that's the front end. So you've got all the parts collected, basically, okay.
I started cleaning the cases and welding the cases and getting the cases all ready for
This is the tank? Oh, wow, that's...
No,
that's a Harley tank.
Yeah, that's a Harley KR tank. These are the cases, so you can see where the crankshaft goes in here, and this is where the bearings would be. And that's actually upside down. That's the bottom. But I had to do some welding to fix some little things.
So have you had that work, that intricate work you were telling me about done to this already?
I'm prepped now to go to
the guy.
To the guy that will turn the crank and do the bearings and set up the bottom end for me.
Okay.
The rest of it I'm fairly confident with, but the original bearing setup takes a lot of special tooling.
Right.
So why not have an extra?
So there's a guy.
There are several guys.
Okay.
But you know, in the big picture, there's probably 4 or 5 of them in the country that are really good at it.
Yeah.
So
when they say the guys, they really mean the guys.
They mean the guys. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Is this part of it?
No, this is this bike here is a 49 panhead.
Okay.
My birth year is 51. So what I'm doing is I'm building this motor, which is a 1951 motor.
Okay.
And I'm putting it in that bike.
Oh, okay.
The tanks that are on the wall over there, the blue ones on top, are 51 tanks. So I'm going to get those painted this color and turn this bike into a 51.
Okay. And you put this decal on here.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine.
Be a man, ride a pan.
Right. That's Carl's cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Carl was the father. He's got a son, Matt. They run a shop in Aberdeen. I think it's South Dakota. Great guys, and you know they're big guys in the AMCA, and so I support their shop.
Okay.
And they make neat stuff like that sticker, you know.
Okay, that's cool. It's a cool sticker.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
I like anything with girls on it.
Yep.
So that's all. I'm pretty easy like that. So that's all you have to do. Okay. So and then these bikes over here are other people's projects.
No, these are. This one here, the orange one, is a +68 shovel head. This is one of mine. I built this many years ago. It's just a chopper, if you will. All my bikes are Kickstarters for the most part, except for the brand new ones.
So this is a chopper?
Yep.
Okay. I noticed it doesn't have that long rake.
Well, it's a longer front end than stock.
Oh, okay.
It's a 21-inch front wheel.
Okay, I see.
It's got a sportster tank on a big twin frame. It's a 68, what they call flat side generator motor.
Okay.
In 68, it's all dusty here from being in here, but I saw a custom Harley in front of the shop in 68. It had a lacquer paint job on it that was this color.
Lacquer?
Lacquer.
Wow.
This is not lacquer, but it was a metallic, and I swear as a young man, I saw that and I could taste the paint job. It looked like candy to me.
Wow.
So, and that they ended up getting the name Candy Colors back then. So I always wanted to do one in that color. So I had this bike done in that color, and I'll never do it again.
Okay.
Because you ride down the road, and the first thing that happens is the stones bruise it, and it gets nicked, and it gets scratched, and to put that much money in a paint job, I ride my bikes.
Yeah.
And I don't baby them, I ride them.
At least you did it though, so you have to do it sometimes and find out you can enjoy it.
So it's got its road rashes, if you will, from the years, but good old dependable
beauty
bike.
marks.
Yep.
That's nice. I like this. Where did you get the seat from?
Oh, the seat. That was originally what they call a Bates solo seat, and it just rotted apart. And so a friend of mine, Scott Fowkes, took this and had somebody else do the tooling on the leather. You can tell how old this is.
Oh,
but this was given to me probably close
It's got an eagle.
Yeah, that's probably about 30
Etched
years
in.
old. He laced it up and gave it to me for one of my birthdays.
Cool.
And so I've ridden it like that for many, many, many years. It's getting threadbare in some places, but you know, if that bike was ever sold, that seat wouldn't go. It was a gift to me, and I'll keep it.
Okay, you're probably right. You must have a small backside
Yeah.
to be able to fit on this.
Yeah, so you see this blanket here?
Uh-huh.
I usually stick those behind the seats. This one's
Oh,
off
okay.
right now.
Yeah, I noticed you've got blankets rolled up like this on.
I've done that since the 60s. And
Oh, okay.
They protect my little skinny butt.
Oh,
but
that's a
if you
the little butt
ever
bone.
if you ever get stuck on the side of the road, you know, it'll keep the rain off you. You can lay down in the dirt.
Right.
You can sleep on it or keep it on your head so the bugs don't get you. They're handy. So it's a little.
So that's a real biker
I don't know if it's a
thing
biker
right
or
there,
something
right?
I've done.
Something
since
you've
the
been
60s.
doing. Okay. Okay.
The guy
And they all have to be these style of.
No, that's just a 60s thing. You know,
Oh,
it was,
okay.
they were cheap.
Okay, because they all look like that.
Yeah,
They all look Aztec-y.
well,
Some cool
they're
Aztec patterns on
Mexican.
there.
They're Mexican blankets,
Yeah.
and they're very inexpensive.
So do you buy these in bulk? Is that
No,
what?
no.
Oh, okay.
I usually try to find one that kind of matches the bike.
The bike. Okay.
So I
it's
try
cool.
to-
It's cool. It's a cool thing. I like it.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's a Nelson thing, but there's other guys do it. So it's not unique to me, but it's something I've done, like I say, since the 60s.
Right.
Locally, it's a signature thing because nobody else does it. But what are you gonna do?
It's cool. Okay, so what's this bike right over here?
This bike is my son's bike. It's his
Oh,
first
okay.
bike. He comes up to me one day and says, "Dad, I want you to buy me a motorcycle." And I laughed. I said, "No." And he said, "I want you to build me a motorcycle." I said, "No." I said, "If you want a motorcycle, I will help you build one."
Oh, okay.
So I helped him build this, but he did most of the work himself. I tutored him, and you know, there were some things I had to do, you know, get my hands on. But for the most part, he worked on this bike for over 2 years, and he stuck with it.
Wow.
And the bike made it, first bike ever, and he made it in a magazine with it.
Oh, really?
So,
That's
so
great.
I
Was
was
this
very
in that
proud.
magazine you were showing
Yes,
me?
yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Right.
yep,
Okay.
Yep.
So we've got to take a look at that
Yep.
magazine
Yep.
and run some of that into there. It's a good looking bike. I like
Yeah.
it. It's close to this, but it looks a little bit like it can take a little bit more beating, like you were saying about the paint job.
Well, yeah,
It's got the same.
he-
You know, I like the black and
simple.
orange color
This
scheme.
bike is the first bike he ever learned to ride.
Oh, okay.
So after he rode it, he learned to ride in this yard.
Oh, wow.
And then he wanted, that kind of gave him the fever, and he, you know, about a year later, he said, "Hey, he wanted
Yeah.
one." So that's the end result.
Maybe I'll get on some of these one day and like go a couple of feet in the yard.
If
You
you
know,
want to
just
ride
roll
one of
it.
these, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
that. We'll get you on a foot shifter first,
Yeah.
and then we'll get you on one that's got a hand
Yeah.
shifter.
We don't want to embarrass Hank Strange.
It's not
on
an
the
embarrassment.
channel,
I guarantee you your pucker valve will be tested.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, stay away from the
Don't-
pond.
Don't look at the pond, right? You have to, because wherever you wind up looking, that's where you wind up going, right? On a bike. So don't look at the pond. That's what you're saying.
There you go.
Okay. We don't want to have to fish anything out of the pond. You know. Or I'll probably wind up going in there
Well, you're already
myself.
dressed up for it. You got green with both
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah, we'll disappear in that. So is there a story with this seat?
So, yeah, you'll see similarities between this bike and this bike. Miles loves this bike. This has got a mushroom on it.
Yeah, it looks like a wizard or
yeah,
something.
wizard with a mushroom. He worked at a pizza joint,
Oh, okay.
and so he did that. You know, Miles is funny. It's a joke. He made his own seat pan, and
Oh, he made this.
Yep,
Oh, he made the pan.
he made
and
the pan. Then he had a friend of ours.
Someone wrap it.
Yes, and he did the leather work. For him.
Great.
Yep.
This is cool. Now, what's this monster over here?
This is a friend of mine, has a machine shop. That is not my style of bike, but he's a good friend. I'm helping him with it, but
Okay.
it is absolutely not my style.
Well, maybe a bike or something that I'm trying to put together will wind up here one day. You know,
Love it.
that would be cool. I like the style of how you do things. I like this low slung, the same size tires, basically. You know, I guess it's got to be a little bit smaller in the back in order to get this look,
This
right?
is the only one I've done like this. Now the knucklehead is
Okay.
1818. This is
Okay.
1618.
Oh, the knuckle, yeah. Because I like that look. I don't know what it is about it. It's almost rectangular in form, but there's something about the way that it sits that's just attractive sitting
The
there.
engineers that worked at the factory knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They built bikes. They got the geometry right. You know, they studied all that. They got all the clearances and the rake angles and the tire sizes. They got it all figured out. And you
Okay.
know, it doesn't pay to mess with something that's already done.
Yeah. I like your style, man. I like the style. You know, I can't fault it. I really like that look a lot.
That's you gotta give Harley 90% of the credit for that because it's basically a stripped down stock bike.
Okay. It's cool. Okay, so now I know we've got some other stuff in here. You've got a lot of. I see there's a bomb up there with Alachua County choppers on it.
That's my Japanese motorcycle repair kit.
Oh, blow it up, basically.
It's a gag. I have nothing against any motorcycle. To me, if you're riding a bike,
Right.
that's good with me.
Okay.
I have my preferences because I can work on this.
Right.
You get into the multi-carbureted, you know.
It's a little bit too much.
No,
Okay.
it's just not.
Okay.
You know, I love the sound of these. I love the smell of them. I love hearing the motor when it's ticking and thumping.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
The kicking on these, kicking on.
Even the Japanese love these bikes.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with that. I mean, that's where a lot of them are getting shipped out to Japan.
Yep.
There's guys who come over here and just buy these things and ship them
Right.
in bulk back to Japan because in the end, I mean, it's art, it's beautiful, you know.
They do have their following.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of being one of them.
Yeah. Okay, YouTube, so you just got a little intro to the Springer garage here. Nelson, he walked us through some of the bikes, around the bikes, and a little bit of the history of his bikes here. Okay, so that's just a little taste, a little teaser of what's going to be coming up on the channel in the coming months and years, if he lets me stay here that long. I don't know. I always get in trouble and wind up getting kicked out. So maybe I'll try to stay on my good graces with Nelson and you get to see a lot of that stuff. All right? This is Hank Strange saying, peace out.